What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Motopilot Garage. I want to introduce you guys to a new bike I've added to my collection. And as you can see now, my current collection is a Street Glide. I've got a Suzuki GSX-S1000F. And over here, I've got an old school 1973 Honda CB350. Also got me a shifter cart for different kind of a rush. Anyways, I want to introduce you to my new motorcycle because I'm really excited about this bike. I've been having a lot of good times on it, and I want to tell you guys why I think every rider should have one of these kinds of bikes. Let's check it out. Whoa, check it out. Honda Africa Twin adventure bike. I love this thing to death. I've had it about 3 weeks now. I've been riding the heck out of it. Yesterday I did about a 200 plus mile ride with my brother and a good buddy. Today I'm going to jump on the bike. I'm going to go to Big Bear Mountain all by myself. I love this bike so much. I want to just jump on it and ride. I don't care if I'm riding solo. I don't care if I'm riding with another group of guys. I just want to ride it. Let's fire it up and hear this bad boy. It's got a parallel twin 1000cc engine. Sounds fantastic. Let me get on my gear. When we come back, we'll be headed up to the mountains. Well, here's the only painful part of the ride. Paying for these gas prices in Southern California. $6.50 a gallon for 91. Ouch. At least I got a small gas tank. Alright, I don't know what's going on today, but it seems like everybody wants to go up to the mountains. The line to get off the freeway was massive. And look at what's up ahead, a big traffic jam. So I don't know what's going on. These guys stopping in the middle of the road. Let's check it out. So this is the mountains here, folks. I love coming up to the mountains because awesome roads, beautiful, much cooler, 30 degrees cooler than down here in the valley. What is going on here? Look at that, people are even getting like denied. Oh, it looks like construction. Great. Oh, it's closed? Are you freaking kidding me? What? This doesn't look good. Maybe I should go ask the cop what's going on. Let's go find out what's going on. The cop's probably gonna be all mad. What are you doing? Splitting through traffic. He does not look happy, does he? I'm gonna go find out what's going on. I got that right. Is it closed all day?
Temporary closing.
Temporary? You don't know how long? About 10 minutes? What a... Alright. Well, I'm in front of the line. 10 minutes. It's gonna be a hot 10 minutes. Alright, so as soon as I got done talking to that guy, he got in his car and went and we took off. I don't know what he's talking about, 10 minutes. Anyways, check it out, man. I'm in front of the pack. Sweet! What I want to make it clear is that I'm not saying everybody should only own an adventure bike. I'm not even telling you what to own. I'm just trying to say that having an adventure bike is a game changer. It was for me. And, you know, I mean, I grew up riding dirt bikes just like everybody else that loves motorcycles when you're young. You're always going to start on a dirt bike, right? So I don't want to take away from all those memories I built on dirt bikes. Learning how to ride, racing, becoming a professional racer. I don't want to take away from my Harley. I have a lot of good times on that. I've had almost every kind of bike you can have, and I can say that this bike right here is now my all-time favorite. I mean, you might think, well, I mean, I've had the best dirt bikes you can have, the best street bikes you can have. I had an Aprilia RSV4. That thing was wicked fast. Go to the track on it, have a blast. I've had a lot of good times, but I value the memories I'm building on this bike the most. I mean, you might think, well, what's the deal, Motopilot? You can go on your Harley, you can go anywhere you can go on your adventure bike. Well, not necessarily true. You can't go in the dirt. And this bike is a street bike and a dirt bike. Where else are you going to find that with a motorcycle? And this thing handles curvy, tight, twisty roads very good, even with a 21-inch wheel on the front. What made me realize I need to get an adventure bike, because you're wondering why did I suddenly end up with one in my garage, is I was like, I need to get a new bike. I was going to replace my Suzuki commuter bike. That's all I do on that bike is commute. I wanted to replace it with something because the miles, it's got 93,000 miles on it. That's crazy. And it's a 2016. I bought this initially to replace that, but now that I have it, I go, you know what? I'm not gonna rack up the miles on this, going to work and back. I'm just gonna use it as an adventure bike. So what I remembered was I'd done a couple rides in my past, and I had a blast. The first ride, we did a 2-day ride to Las Vegas from Riverside, California. Normally that's only a 4-hour trip, and all through the backcountry, staying in weird little motels, going through mountain ranges on fire roads. I was on a DRZ 400 and I didn't care, and I loved it. We left Vegas, got rained on, and I ended up riding through a snowstorm through the middle of nowhere, and I loved it, dude. It was awesome. And then the next ride I did, we did a ride to the Grand Canyon, and all through backcountry, some street, a lot of dirt, just going through backcountry you would never see. And it was just an amazing ride. We got there, we stayed in a cabin, rode into the Grand Canyon the next day, and just great rides that I built great memories on. So I wanted to build upon that, because when I think of great rides that I've done, those are the 2 rides that come to mind first. Like I don't know what it is. There's just something about being on this bike when I'm up here in the mountains. It just feels different because it's an adventure bike. I don't know, it's like I'm at one with nature up here on this bike. The bike is super comfortable, like most adventure bikes are. You can see I got tall motocross style handlebars. My seat to foot peg measurement is about 3 inches more than on a sport bike, and I'm just really comfortable. I got a nice tall shield blocking most of the wind, and it's just a bitchin' bike. It's like a motocross bike for the street. It's heavier, which is okay, but it just feels really good. I love this thing. Man, it is so nice and cool up here. The thing about an adventure bike is it inspires you to go on more adventures. I mean, since I've had this bike, and then I was test riding a buddy's Africa Twin to see if I wanted one, I've been up in these mountains probably 4 times. Let's just say I've racked up probably 600 miles in like a month. I mean, look at today. I got up, I walked my dogs, I go, I'm going to do yard work until lunchtime, which is about noon, And I'm like, screw it, I'm gonna jump on my adventure bike and I'm gonna go on a ride. I'm gonna go up to the mountains and enjoy the ride and grab a bite to eat, ride back down. I'll be home by 4 o'clock. The wife is on her way home from Vegas, and look at where I'm at right now. I would never have done that on my Harley or on my sport bike. I mean, maybe it's because I've had those bikes a long time and I'm just not that much into them. This bike is new, I get it. That's an argument too. But I could just tell that this bike is gonna bring a lot more adventure in my life for many, many years. And if you guys haven't experienced an adventure bike, yeah, you don't really know what it's all about, but I'm telling you, man, it's just something different. It's awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Here, now when I get up here to Big Bear, this little village up here, I'm gonna stop, I'm gonna grab a bite to lunch, I'm gonna go over the bike, I'm gonna explain adventure bikes for you guys real quick. I mean, they're all kind of basically have the same dynamic of what's going on, and you don't have to spend a ton of money to get into it. I mean, if you want to spend $20,000, $25,000, you can, but you don't have to. I got this 2016 Big Bear Lake for $19,500. No, I'm sorry, back that up. $9,500. And the thing is in premium shape. It's relatively stock, which is the way I wanted it, because I want to do all the work to it myself. But I'll explain to you what kind of cool stuff you can do to these bikes. I got my cool navigation right here. That came with the bike. But yeah, let's get up to Big Bear, get off the bike and go over it with you, and I'll see you there. Alright, I'm going to stop in this first little town here. I'm pretty high up on the mountain and it's getting pretty chilly. So I'm going to pull over here and put on my sweatshirt. This is what I love about adventure riding too, is always having to be ready for a lot of changing climates and temperatures, and I've never been rained on, snowed on so much in my life until I got an adventure bike. So I just got this little case on the back, got my sweatshirt here, and yeah, I'm wearing a super vented jacket here so the air goes right through it. And then I got me some warmer gloves right here. So let's do it. Thought I'd have you guys join me on this awesome road. You don't need a full-blown sport bike to have fun on the twisties. And I even have a knobby on the front. Look at that view. Sick. Cyclist dudes are crazy. Right down the frickin' lane. What a... There's no bigger conflict than cyclists versus automobiles. They hate each other. But yeah, when I was looking at these bikes, I was thinking 21-inch front wheel. Nah, I'm gonna probably chop that down to a 19. But I thought, go ahead and get the bike, ride it for a while, see how you like the 21. And you know what? It's great. It's just fine. And now I know if I go into the dirt, I'll be set with my 21-inch wheel. This road is so good. You know, even like Ricky Carmichael, he started doing this adventure ride. He does it like every year, goes from state to state. So even like hardcore motocrossers, which is what I basically was growing up all the way for years, hardcore motocross. I mean, you can we can even have a strong appreciation for adventure riding. You guys riding in shorts and a t-shirt. Must be a local. The adventure continues. So here we are, basically at my destination. I'm gonna go have lunch over on the other side of the lake. But this is another reason I love the adventure riding. Up here is beautiful, Big Bear Lake. You know what, like I said, I'm up here by myself and it doesn't even bother me, because I could either be here checking this out, enjoying this, or back down in the city. Which would you pick? Nirvana. Alright, man, I don't have all day and I'm starving. Let's motor. Alright, so here we are, Big Bear Village. It's where I always like to come. There's a cool place where I can eat. It's got a patio. And you're up here, you want to be outside as much as possible. Now, the great thing about these adventure bikes too is, you know, you can go moto camping. You can load these things up with luggage and all the camping gear you need and just go. You don't need hotels or anything. This is where I always go to eat. 572. See the patio? I think I can squeeze right in that hole right there. But yeah, they got the music going. Pretty sick. But yeah, it doesn't have to just be a one-day ride. You can go for days on these things in comfort. Alright, let's get some food and a cold drink. I'm dying. Alright guys, we are down the mountain now. What an awesome ride that was. So let me just brief over my bike and I'll kind of tell you in general what most adventure bikes have, just to get you familiar with these kind of bikes. Let's check it out. Alright, so these bikes in general are like big dirt bikes, bigger motors, but and more weight. Like this bike here weighs a little bit over 500 pounds. And you can see it has, you know, you're gonna get the long travel suspension. I've got 9 inches in the front and in the back. So essentially it looks like a dirt bike front wheel. You got your double disc front brakes. This one here's got a high fender kit. Normally these adventure bikes have like a low fender that's really close to the tire. The bad thing about that is if you ride in a muddy condition, the mud can get in there and pack in between the tire and the fender, and it's not really the best idea. Anyhow, most of these bikes, we gear them up with a nice heavy skid plate, you know, to avoid rock damage. We almost always have these crash bars. This is an aftermarket item here. You know, in case you go down, it's going to protect your bike, protect your engine. You know, some of them come up even higher to protect the side of your fairing here. In general, you'll have like a medium-sized fairing. It's not really big, it's not really small, kind of like in the middle. You got yourself a nice windscreen here. You can change the height of it. I've got a really low one for summer. Almost always running hand crash guards here. The metal type here, so they're really strong. Bigger gas tanks than dirt bikes. This gas tank isn't really that big. I don't know, it's like 3.5 gallons. They get up to like 5 gallons. Usually got a dash here with all your information. Then there's always electronics for different ride modes. This bike is fairly simple. It's just got, you know, some traction control and ABS. That's all it's got. And most of the time I have that all turned off, but some of these bikes got a ton of electronics. Just depends on how much you want to spend and what you want to ride. You got your electronics controls over here on the left-hand side. This bike here came with the Garmin on it, which has been very nice. That's an aftermarket piece there. What we normally do for luggage is, you know, sometimes we'll run a tank bag. They're pretty small, but a lot of times we'll have a rack here with a really good size side case, one on both sides. So just, you know, I don't run them. I don't even have any yet, but I plan on getting some. But if I'm just buzzing around locally, I don't run them. I prefer it without them, less weight. And, you know, a lot of times we'll have a box on the top. I have a really small one there now, just for carrying small items. You can see a little plate right here. Some guys have like really big ones they're so big they can hold a helmet and more. But I like this little pack here just for buzzing around locally. Like I said, this bike is going to go through a complete transformation from top to bottom. It's going to look completely different when I'm done. So yeah, I'm just getting going on this thing. Now for tires, there's a lot of ways we can go on these bikes. You can go with an 80% street, 20% dirt, 50-50, 20-80, 60-40. I'm really liking this tire right here. This is a Tractionator Adventure by Motaz. It's not Moto Z, it's Motaz, and they're out of Australia. Oz, get it? This tire's been fantastic. I was getting super aggressive up there in the mountains and it totally stuck. And I imagine if I took it in the dirt, it would do a pretty good job too. I've got a pretty aggressive tire on the front, which I'm really surprised how good this thing's been sticking with the way I've been riding. This is the TKC 80, which from what I read, is a pretty popular tire. So tires are whatever you want to run. Just depends on how you ride, where you ride. Mostly street, mostly dirt, 50-50, whatever. And like I said, the rider cockpit on this bike is super comfortable. You got these tall handlebars, so you're not turn the battery off. Super tall handlebars, so you're not reaching down like on a sport bike. So it almost feels like a motocross bike on the street. The seat to foot peg measurement is really good. So you have a really open cockpit. I call it the rider's triangle. And you can just ride this thing for days and you know, you're gonna be pretty comfortable. And then the last thing is the engine on these bikes. There's a lot of variables, but they're usually a twin or a triple. This happens to be a parallel twin side by side. Kawasaki does the V-twin. Triumph has triples. I'm not sure what all the rest of them are, but anyways, this motor's great. It runs cool. It doesn't get hot underneath your butt or your legs, but you're gonna find these bikes anywhere from like a 660, which Aprilia just released. Yamaha's got a 700. There's 8 somethings. KTM's got all their 1090, 1190, 1290. Was gonna get a 1290 KTM, but I decided on this. This is a 1000. So yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. Anyways, guys, thanks for joining me on today's adventure. Hopefully I opened up your eyes to something new. If you haven't already thought about getting an adventure bike, I am loving this thing. All right, man, I'm gonna take off, get on home. See you guys in the next video.